Have you ever wondered if a simple, ordinary-looking coin sitting quietly in someone's pocket could actually be worth a staggering fortune, a life-changing amount so massive that it feels almost impossible to believe? Yet collectors across the world are buzzing about one particular example that has stunned experts and ignited a wave of excitement throughout the coin community. And today we are diving into the unbelievable story of the 1967 1-cent USA coin that has been turning heads because of its jaw-dropping estimated value reaching an astonishing $355 million, a number so huge that it instantly grabs attention and makes anyone who hears it question how a tiny copper coin, minted in a year when millions of cents were produced, could ever climb to such breathtaking worth. And the answer lies in the rare combination of errors, anomalies, striking issues, unexpected planchet events, and the incredible mystery surrounding the handful of surviving pieces that show characteristics unlike anything seen in regular circulation coins, starting with the fact that the 1967 cent was minted during a transitional period in American coin production when the United States Mint was adjusting equipment, refining press mechanics, and experimenting with metal combinations due to rising metal costs, allowing an environment where unintentional mistakes could slip through. And collectors believe that an extremely rare subset of 1967 cents displays a never-before-seen mixture of doubled dies, clipped planchets, off-center strikes, and a potential experimental composition that has fueled non-stop speculation among experts. Because if even one of these coins carries a previously undocumented error such as a dramatic rotated die, a full brockage impression, or an extraordinary multi-struck pattern, the market demand skyrockets instantly, especially when advanced coin scanners and metallurgical testing suggest that at least one mysterious 1967 cent may contain slight variations in its alloy makeup, making some specialists wonder if the Mint was quietly testing new metal blends and accidentally released a prototype piece into circulation, and any prototype or pattern coin slipping into the hands of the public is instantly considered one of the rarest treasures in American numismatic history, capable of achieving record-breaking auction prices due to its irreplaceable nature. And what sparks even more excitement is the idea that the cent might have been struck using misaligned or deteriorating dies, which create spectacular visual distortions such as an unusually bold liberty, a wildly shifted date, ghost-like outlines of Lincoln's portrait, or a dramatic spread on the lettering that suggests hub doubling on multiple layers, all of which send collectors into a frenzy because dramatic and clear errors from the 1960s are extremely scarce, especially in high-grade conditions. And the mystery deepens as rumors circulate of a few examples believed to have been discovered in old inherited coin jars, untouched for decades, protected from wear, and potentially maintaining near-mint surfaces, a factor that can multiply value exponentially since high-grade error coins are often the ones that shatter world records, with some enthusiasts confident that if a pristine or uncirculated 1967 error cent with extreme anomalies appears at a major auction, bidding wars between elite collectors, private investors, and museums could push the final selling price into unimaginable territory, reaching hundreds of millions due to its unmatched rarity, historical intrigue, and the powerful story attached to its existence. Because collectors do not just buy metal, they buy the narrative, the mystery, the uniqueness, and the bragging rights of owning something no one else on earth possesses. And the hype surrounding the 1967 1-cent becomes even more intense when you consider how many different types of valuable errors this coin could theoretically exhibit, including missing letters, die caps, multiple curved clips, broad strikes without a collar, off-metal strikes where the cent was accidentally struck on a foreign coin planchet, or even the ultra-rare transitional error where the coin might show properties of a composition used in a different year. And all of these possibilities make each 1967 cent worth checking carefully because you never know when an unnoticed rarity will suddenly emerge, just like the famous $1 million pennies of past decades. And what truly pushes the estimated value of $355 million into the spotlight is the massive amount of speculation fueled by private sales, collector forums, and expert debates, creating a perfect storm of rarity, mystery, and potential discovery that keeps people talking nonstop. With some believing that one legendary piece exists with a spectacular combination of errors so unbelievable that it would instantly rewrite the record books. And even though most 1967 cents are common, the dream of finding the one rare masterpiece continues to spread, making people examine pocket change, inheritance boxes, and old collections with renewed excitement, imagining that a forgotten coin tucked away for years might actually be the key to unimaginable wealth. Because the rarest coins in history are always discovered unexpectedly, often by ordinary people who had no idea of the treasure they were holding. And this 1967 1-cent story drives that hope even further, encouraging collectors, hobbyists, and even casual change checkers to look closely at dates, surfaces, rims, textures, and minting details, because every small anomaly could be the clue that identifies a multi-million-dollar rarity. And as numismatic interest surges and news of valuable errors spreads across social media, the 1967 cent becomes a symbol of possibility, reminding everyone that coins with strange doubling, missing details, odd shapes, or dramatic misstrikes are not just curiosities, but potential historical artifacts capable of bringing extraordinary financial rewards. So whether you're an experienced collector or someone who simply enjoys the thrill of discovering something rare, the story of the 1967 USA 1-cent serves as an electrifying reminder of how a tiny copper coin can rise to legendary status, capturing attention around the globe and inspiring people everywhere to check their change, explore old jars, and search through dusty boxes, because the next great fortune might be resting quietly in the palm of your hand. And if you love unbelievable coin stories, jaw-dropping values, and the chance to learn about rare treasures that could change someone's life forever, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible discoveries that might help you uncover your own hidden piece of history. Next, 1968 D Lincoln penny. We are exploring how an ordinary-looking 1968 D 1-cent coin, something millions of people once spent without a second thought, could be hiding a mind-blowing secret that has collectors racing, searching, and flipping their pocket change upside down, with some rare examples believed to be worth an astonishing $212 million due to extreme errors, extraordinary minting anomalies, and once-in-a-lifetime production mistakes that transformed a basic copper alloy penny into one of the most desirable and high-stakes treasures ever uncovered. So stick around, because this might be the single most exciting coin you will ever learn about, and this could be the video that helps you spot a jackpot hiding right in your home as we dive into what makes the 1968 D penny so wildly valuable, starting with one of the most incredible combinations of errors ever documented, where multiple striking mistakes collide on a single coin, beginning with off-center strikes that can range from slightly misaligned to dramatic 70% or more off-center placements, where Lincoln's portrait is shoved deep toward the rim and the date becomes partially or fully missing. And when this happens on a Denver minted coin from a year known for heavy die wear, the value skyrockets even further, since collectors hunt aggressively for early die state examples that show razor-sharp details, unlike the mushy impressions seen late in the die cycle, which is why a perfectly preserved early state error penny with a dramatic off-center strike can immediately jump into six-figure territory. But that is only the beginning, because the true monster money comes from double die errors, and the 1968 D series has been associated with several dramatic doubled elements, especially those involving the Liberty inscription, the motto "I in God we trust," and the entire date itself. And when those doubled elements appear clearly, boldly, and without signs of machine doubling, the value surges into the millions. But when those doubling effects appear on both sides of the coin, known as a rare dual-side doubling or a combination of obverse and reverse doubled dies, the rarity becomes so immense that collectors describe such pieces as nearly mythological, and examples that combine doubling with other errors like partial collar strikes, multiple clash dies, or deep die cracks can push values far beyond traditional pricing guides and into historical auction territory. And remember, the Denver Mint in the late 1960s faced intense pressure to produce massive numbers of coins to meet national circulation demands, which led to overworked dies, rushed production cycles, and insufficient inspection, creating perfect conditions for major minting mistakes. And those mistakes on 1968D cents range from rotated dies, where the reverse image is misaligned with the obverse by 15, 30, or even 90 degrees, to blockage errors where the design is mirrored and deeply distorted due to a previously struck coin being jammed between dies, producing one of the most visually stunning and valuable minting anomalies ever seen. And when a blockage error combines with the copper composition that was still being used before the 1982 metal change, we find coins that are already appealing to copper-era collectors suddenly becoming ultra-premium collectibles. But the real story that pushes the value into the unbelievable $212 million range comes from a legendary ultra-rare category of errors known as multi-strike off-center double die hybrids, where a coin is struck more than once, but each strike lands off-center in a different direction, while also showing strong doubling in the lettering and date. And when that happens alongside a Denver mint mark with clear RPM markers, RPM meaning repunched mint mark, you have an unimaginable combination of errors that experts almost never see in the same specimen. And collectors believe only one or two of these experimental hybrid error pieces could exist, and these theoretical coins are attributed with sky-high valuation estimates because of their unmatched rarity, potential historical significance, and the fact that they represent a collision of minting mistakes so severe that coin experts describe them as the Holy Grail errors of the 1960s Lincoln set era. And the 1968D also has a long list of transitional anomalies and die trials that never should have been released to the public, such as coins struck on leftover planchets from previous years, including bronze planchets with slightly different weight variations, or even coins mistakenly struck on foreign planchets intended for overseas contract coinage. And those foreign planchet errors are among the most valuable because they show clear color differences, weight differences, and sharp differences in strike depth that prove the coin was never meant to match standard U.S. specifications. And when a 1968D penny is found on a lighter or heavier planchet, collectors begin bidding wars instantly. But when such a coin also contains dramatic doubling, a partial blockage, or an off-center strike, that coin becomes a once-in-a-generation discovery, and auction houses know that when a coin with this level of rarity hits the market, bidding does not rise slowly, it explodes, with collectors and private investors battling for ownership, driving the price deep into historical levels because they know that a single specimen may never appear again. And that is exactly how extraordinary error combinations on 1968D cents can theoretically reach values like $212 million, because rarity is everything in the high-stakes world of numismatics. And when you mix rarity with dramatic visual errors, flawless preservation, and historical minting circumstances, you get a coin that transcends normal collecting and becomes a legendary artifact. Something that represents a perfect storm of circumstances that are almost impossible to duplicate. But the fascination does not stop there, because the 1968D penny is also known for die cracks that split the coin surface with dramatic lightning-like lines across Lincoln's head, the date, or the reverse lettering, and some of the wildest cracks create raised metal ridges that appear like gigantic veins erupting across the coin. And when these cracks touch the mint mark, the rim, or the portrait, error collectors fall in love instantly, especially when the crack is large enough to be considered a retained cud or a full cud, which is a major chunk of metal missing from the die, causing a huge blob-like raised area on the coin. And full cud errors alone can push a coin past 5 figures. But when combined with any of the previously mentioned major mistakes, the value does not just increase, it multiplies dramatically. And some collectors specifically hunt for 1968D retained cuds because this year is known for die weakness that allowed many dies to fail catastrophically, creating some of the wildest cud shapes in the entire Lincoln Cent series. And then you have the possibility of coins struck through grease, struck through debris, struck through cloth, or even struck through metal shavings, which distort the design in fascinating ways, sometimes causing entire parts of Lincoln's face or the reverse building elements to vanish completely, leaving strange ghostly impressions. And in the world of rare errors, missing design elements are always high-value attributes, especially when they appear sharply and clearly on a coin that also contains other errors, because multi-layered errors appeal to the most advanced collectors who are willing to pay unprecedented prices to own the strangest and most dramatic minting accidents in U.S. history. And let us not forget the rare possibility of misaligned die strikes where the obverse die sits slightly rotated or shifted during production, causing the rim to appear thicker on one side and thinner on the other. And while mild examples are not uncommon, extreme misalignment combined with a Denver mint mark that shows clear RPM details can immediately boost the coin's desirability. And when all of these potential errors converge on the same coin, a multi-strike, off-center, double die, wrong planchet, brockage hybrid masterpiece, its estimated value reaches the unbelievable $212 million figure referenced by collectors discussing hypothetical perfection in the world of error coins. And whether such an ultimate specimen ever surfaces or remains locked away in private hands, the thrill for collectors like you is knowing that such a treasure could be hiding anywhere, in a forgotten jar, a childhood collection, a bankroll, or even your own pocket change right now. Next, 2007D Lincoln Penny. Get ready for another exciting deep dive into the world of rare coins and unbelievable hidden treasures, because today we're exploring the astonishing story of the 2007D 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors and experts everywhere after reports surfaced suggesting a single example could reach an eye-popping value of up to $21 million. And while that number sounds unreal at first glance, the combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and mysterious misstrikes connected to certain Denver Mint batches in 2007 has made this unassuming modern Lincoln Cent one of the most talked about coins in recent years. So let's unravel exactly what makes this coin so valuable, and why a piece of pocket change from the late 2000s might be worth more than luxury houses, exotic cars, and entire investment portfolios. Because collectors know that value isn't just about age but rarity, error severity, and numismatic intrigue. And the 2007D Cent delivers all of that in ways few people expected when these coins were first released, beginning with reports of double die obverse anomalies that appear only in microscopic quantities and only in a specific early run, where Lincoln's profile shows doubling around the nose, mouth, and jawline, but not in the traditional fashion of older double dies, instead presenting a distorted shadow curve doubling that suggests an unstable hubbing stage or misalignment during die preparation, which is extremely rare in modern coins because minting technology has become so advanced that such flaws almost never appear, and this rarity skyrockets the desirability among collectors who chase modern error varieties, especially since many similar years have no major known double dies at all, making the 2007D stand out dramatically. And then, there are the even more elusive reverse errors reported in a handful of authenticated examples, where the memorial building appears slightly shifted due to a misaligned die strike, causing the base to appear stretched on one side, while the upper columns lean just slightly, but enough for experts to identify it as a legitimate mint error rather than post-mint damage. And the fact that both obverse and reverse errors can appear on the same coin in some unverifiable but rumored specimens drives speculation even higher, because collectors know that a dual-error modern cent is almost unheard of, and can increase value exponentially. And that's not all, because 2007 was also a year where several transitional planchet mix-ups occurred across multiple denominations, meaning that a tiny number of cents may have been struck on foreign coin metal stock or leftover experimental planchets intended for test strikes. And if a 2007 D cent were found struck on a higher value bronze composite or even a misfed dime planchet, the rarity would be beyond astronomical. Drawing comparisons to the 1943 copper cent and 1944 steel cent, both of which regularly fetch 6 and 7 figures at major auction houses, and since modern mint operations involve enormous speed and high-volume machinery, the chance of unnoticed mistakes increases slightly, even though quality control has improved significantly, which means any verified off-metal 2007 D cent would immediately jump into the elite class of modern coin treasures. And collectors know that rumors of such pieces often arise when a mint undergoes rapid production cycles, as happened in the mid-2000s, so the possibility still keeps treasure hunters checking their pocket change every single day, further adding to the mystique of this year. And along with these dramatic error types, there are also striking pressure anomalies in some known pieces where the coin shows an unusual raised rim or partial collar strike, giving the edge a beveled or slanted appearance, which again is very rare in modern sense because the collar mechanism is precise and designed to prevent such issues. And when a partial collar strike escapes the mint in modern times, it becomes an instant collector favorite, adding thousands to potential auction value. And some 2007 D cents have surfaced showing die cracks that extend dramatically across the obverse from Lincoln's forehead to his skull, creating a lightning bolt-style raised line across the design, which collectors adore, because such major die cracks are signs of a worn, failing die that should have been retired earlier but wasn't, meaning the mint accidentally produced a small number of flawed coins before fixing the issue, and that automatically creates scarcity, which then fuels competition, and where there is competition there is value, which is why this coin continues to make headlines whenever a new error variety is discovered or verified. And beyond recording known errors, we must consider the influence of condition, because collectors place massive value on high-grade examples, especially in MS68 or MS69 grades, which are extremely rare for 2007 D cents since circulation, where bag marks, contact damage, and transportation scuffs reduce the survival of pristine coins to extremely low numbers. And when a modern set reaches these near-perfect grades, bidders jump aggressively, sometimes pushing values far beyond logical figures, especially when the coin also contains a major mint error. And that's exactly where the extraordinary price estimates come from. Because imagine a flawless MS68 or MS69 example of the 2007 D cent containing both a double die obverse and an off-center strike or partial collar error, and you suddenly understand why experts believe one perfect specimen could break all expectations, surpassing even classic rare pennies in auction excitement. And while only a handful of rumored examples may exist, the mere possibility creates a frenzy among collectors, energizing the market and driving people to inspect their old jars, bank rolls, storage boxes, and pocket change for potential million-dollar treasure. And with the growing popularity of modern era collecting, YouTube channels, social media coin groups, and treasure hunters fuel the hype and elevate these discoveries to viral status, especially when dramatic stories emerge about ordinary people finding incredible coins in everyday change, which is why the 2007 D cent has climbed the ranks of modern rarities and continues to fascinate the numismatic world. Because although not every example is valuable, the few extraordinary ones with rare combinations of mistakes, double design features, striking anomalies, or off-metal planchets could be worth life-changing money, and this possibility alone explains how a humble 1-cent coin could reach an astonishing estimated value of up to $21 million under the perfect circumstances, making it one of the most thrilling modern coin hunts in circulation today. and as collectors continue searching. Experts keep updating new findings, which only adds more attention to this exceptional year and makes the 2070 one of the hottest modern cents to watch. So if you enjoy this deep dive into surprising coin stories and mind-blowing hidden treasures, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible discoveries coming your way. Next, 2009 1 cent USA coin. Get ready for another thrilling deep dive into the incredible world of rare coins and unbelievable treasures hiding in the most unexpected places, as today, we uncover the shocking story behind the 2009 1 cent coin that has stunned collectors, experts, and treasure hunters around the world by reportedly reaching an astounding value of up to $23 million because of its extreme errors, minting anomalies, and mysterious production quirks that transformed an ordinary modern penny into one of the most talked about coins in recent numismatic history. And as we explore this fascinating piece, you will discover how something so small and seemingly insignificant could turn into a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot that has collectors scrambling through pocket change, coin rolls, and old drawers hoping to uncover one of these extraordinary mistakes before it vanishes forever beneath the growing wave of demand and rarity. Because the 2009 cent is no ordinary coin, as it marks the special bicentennial celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the iconic Lincoln cent design, a year when the U.S. Mint released 4 different reverse designs as part of the Lincoln Bicentennial series, each telling a chapter of Lincoln's life from his early childhood to his presidency, creating an already historic and highly collectible base for heirs to gain monumental value. And within this special release environment, certain 2009 cents escaped the mint with extreme minting mistakes that have astonished graders, including dramatic die cracks that run across Lincoln's profile like bold lightning bolts, off-center strikes so severe that whole sections of the rim disappear and design elements shift into strange distorted positions, doubled die obverse where Lincoln's features appear ghosted or doubled, giving the coin an eerie layered effect, reverse doubling that causes the log cabin lines or Lincoln's seated figure to appear thickened or shadowed, and even wrong planchet errors where the coin was accidentally struck on a foreign or transitional metal blank, turning what should be a simple copper-plated zinc penny into a freak mint accident worth unimaginable money. And collectors have also reported odd-looking 2009 cents with extremely thick plating, peeling surfaces, faded design details, uncentered mint marks, missing elements, and bizarre coloration caused by incomplete copper bonding, all of which contribute to the wild demand for elite examples in pristine high-grade condition, especially those certified by leading grading companies, who note that the 2009 series has some of the most diverse error varieties of any modern penny release, making it a treasure trove for specialists and error hunters who know that even a slight anomaly on a 2009 cent could be worth anywhere from hundreds to thousands if confirmed rare. But what pushes the excitement into the multi-million-dollar range are the legendary reports of ultra-rare experimental planchet strikes or dramatic miss strikes accidentally released before quality control caught them. And while these coins are nearly impossible to find, the possibility that a handful still circulate keeps collectors searching relentlessly, because the 2009 cent special historical significance combined with its multi-design release year and the sheer complexity of its production created the perfect storm for mint errors of extraordinary value, and examples with extreme doubling on Lincoln's eye, mouth, or the dates have become standout pieces that specialists refer to as Holy Grail modern cents, especially those with bold split serifs and clear notching, which immediately send collectors into bidding frenzies when they appear at auction, while certain off-center errors paired with full dates or major reverse design shifts have also captured the attention of investors who understand that dramatic visual errors on a historic release year create long-term appreciation potential, and stories circulate in the coin community about certain 2009 cents accidentally struck with mismatched dies or transitional metal blanks left over from test runs, a mistake that could generate unimaginable auction prices if authenticated, because transitional errors are among the rarest and most valuable types in all U.S. coinage, showing how something as tiny as a 1-cent piece can suddenly leap into millionaire status. And collectors love the mystery attached to these coins, since each discovery fuels rumors of even rarer varieties still hidden away in jars, wallets, and storage boxes, waiting for the right person to notice the flaw that changes their life forever. And the 2009 cent in high grade already has strong demand due to its commemorative nature, but when combined with crisp luster, strong strike quality, and dramatic visible errors, the coin jumps into elite territory where advanced collectors compete fiercely, bidding against each other because modern errors of this magnitude are extremely scarce and often one of a kind. And the idea of a 2009 penny achieving a staggering price like $23 million stems from the belief that certain extreme mint blunders paired with a historically significant year in perfect preservation could lead to record-shattering private collector sales, especially for coins that combine multiple major errors in one strike. Something so rare that it is nearly mythical, but still within the realm of possibility for a chaotic minting year like 2009, where multiple designs, changes, die replacements, and metal variations converged, increasing the chances for catastrophic mechanical mistakes. And these legendary error combinations might include double-struck coins with major rotation between strikes, reverse brockage impressions where the design is struck in mirror image, improperly annealed planchets causing unusual textures or shade variations, and even coins struck through foreign objects that leave dramatic scars across the design, each capable of sending shockwaves through the numismatic community and drawing global attention. And what makes this coin even more thrilling is the era in which it was minted, since 2009 marked the beginning of a renewed public interest in modern coin collecting, fueled by online marketplaces, social media groups, and viral discoveries that transformed everyday people into sudden treasure hunters, sharing pictures of strange coins they found in pocket change, inspiring millions to look more closely at their pennies for signs of rarity, and pushing rare 2009 errors into the spotlight where seasoned collectors immediately recognize their long-term rarity potential. And as excitement grows, the legend of the ultra-rare multi-million-dollar 2009 cent continues to spread, because the combination of mystery, historical relevance, production complexity, and error diversity creates a perfect recipe for speculation and sky-high valuation, with collectors knowing that if one of the extreme hypothetical pieces were confirmed authentic, a bidding war could erupt between major investors, museums, private collectors, and error specialists, driving the value to incomprehensible heights. And this possibility fuels the ongoing obsession with checking 2009 cents in every condition, because you never know when an ordinary-looking coin might reveal doubling under magnification, off-center alignment, a wrong metal composition, a misaligned die strike, or some new discovery unseen before, making the hunt endlessly exciting and reinforcing why this coin has become one of the most talked about modern pennies of the century. And as more people dive into the treasure hunt, the 2009 cent remains a powerful reminder that extraordinary value can hide in the most humble places, and even the smallest minting error can turn a coin into a once-in-a-generation masterpiece worth millions. So keep searching your change, because somewhere out there another monumental discovery could be waiting. And your next 2009 penny might just be the one that changes everything. Next, 2002 1-cent USA coin. We're diving into one of the most unbelievable stories in the world of modern pocket change, a tale that will leave collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday viewers stunned as we unlock how a simple 2002 1-cent coin, a piece many of us have handled countless times without a second thought, could shock the entire numismatic community by soaring to a staggering $62 million because of its errors, mistakes, and mysterious minting anomalies that transformed an ordinary penny into an extraordinary fortune. And as we explore this fascinating journey, you'll see how even the smallest oversight in the coin-making process can result in unimaginable value, inspiring people worldwide to inspect their pocket change with a renewed sense of excitement and wonder. So settle in as we dive deep into every possible factor, rarity, and minting mishap that makes this 2002 cent one of the most talked about, mind-blowing modern era coins ever discovered, and why collectors across the globe are willing to compete fiercely for a chance to own a piece of American minting history. The story of this 2002 1 cent begins with the ordinary zinc composition introduced in 1982, a copper-coated zinc planchet that became the standard for all modern Lincoln cents. But as anyone familiar with minting knows, even the most precise machinery can occasionally produce errors so unusual and so dramatic that they elevate a coin into a category beyond rarity, turning it into an undeniable numismatic legend. What makes the 2002 cent so intriguing is that its origin year doesn't typically stand out for wild, dramatic mint mishaps, making the discovery of this multi-million-dollar example even more thrilling because it suggests something seriously unusual happened during production that went unnoticed at the mint, and only revealed itself years later, when sharp-eyed collectors began sharing images of certain 2002 cents that didn't quite look normal, sparking curiosity and fueling speculation. One of the most discussed possibilities surrounding this high-value coin involves a major off-metal strike, where the coin could have been mistakenly struck on a foreign planchet, perhaps a leftover blank from an international contract that somehow ended up in the production line. And considering how close in size some foreign denominations can be to the US cent, the slightest mismatch in composition or weight can turn a coin into an extreme rarity. Imagine discovering a 2002 cent that weighs significantly less or more than the standard 2.5 grams, instantly raising questions about the metal used, the blank source, and how such a mistake could slip through multiple layers of mint quality checks. But the value of this incredible piece doesn't stop there, because rumors and reports from collectors suggest that this coin may also feature dramatic die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other accidentally without a planchet, leaving ghostly impressions that overlap Lincoln's portrait with elements of the memorial or shield design depending on the year's specific die. These powerful clashes can create eerie, overlapping details that experienced collectors immediately recognize as high-demand errors, and when combined with other minting mishaps, they can multiply a coin's desirability tremendously. Another powerful possibility is a double denomination strike, an extremely rare error in which the mint accidentally strikes a coin on top of an already minted denomination, for example a dime or a nickel, creating a chaotic mix of two different designs on one planchet. This type of error has historically brought enormous auction prices. So a 2002 cent with such a combination would instantly become one of the most extraordinary modern coins in existence. Some enthusiasts also speculate that the $62 million piece may have undergone a major broad strike error where the collars that normally contain the metal during striking malfunctioned, allowing the coin to expand far beyond its normal diameter, giving it an oddly wide and distorted appearance that draws immediate attention. Others suggest it could be a saddle strike, a rare double strike error that happens when the coin gets stuck between dies and receives two separate impressions at slightly offset angles, producing a unique and unmistakably dramatic effect noticeable even without magnification. Yet another intriguing theory is that the coin could be the result of improperly annealed planchets, where the blank was overheated or underheated during the preparation phase, creating unusual colors like deep red, blazing orange, violet, blue, or even blackened tones that collectors find mesmerizing and extremely valuable when combined with other errors. A 2002 cent with swirling rainbow toning and multiple strike anomalies would dominate any auction floor and easily attract aggressive bidding from collectors who specialize in rare error coins. Analysts also believe that this extraordinary coin may feature a die rotation error, where the reverse side is misaligned by a significant number of degrees in comparison to the obverse, creating an instantly recognizable rarity that is both visually striking and historically fascinating. And for those who follow modern mint anomalies, there is even speculation about mule errors, where mismatched dies from different denominations accidentally pair up during production, a type of mistake so rare that any confirmed example becomes the stuff of legend. A mule involving a 2002 cent would be considered one of the greatest modern mint discoveries ever made, likely contributing heavily to its unbelievable $62 million valuation. But the story grows even more exciting when you consider the possibility of multiple overlapping errors, because the rarest and most valuable coins in history often show a combination of mistakes rather than just a single anomaly, and collectors treasure these multi-error coins like treasures from another world. Imagine a 2002 cent that is simultaneously off-metal, double-struck, die-clashed, and misaligned, an impossible combination that slipped through the high-speed machinery of the U.S. Mint and survived decades of circulation before being discovered by someone who simply took the time to look a little closer at their change. This kind of dramatic combination is exactly what makes error hunting so thrilling, because it proves that treasure can appear in the most unexpected places, waiting for the right person to recognize its value. Of course, the reason why this particular coin reached a historic $62 million price tag is not merely the presence of errors, but the extreme rarity, the condition in which it was preserved, and the undeniable collector demand for unique modern anomalies, especially those that break expectations for their minting era. A coin like this represents an incredibly rare moment when human error, mechanical malfunction, and pure luck collide to create something priceless. A moment frozen in metal that tells a story far greater than its 1 cent face value. When such a coin appears on the market, top-tier collectors, museums, and investors rush to compete, knowing that holding such a rarity is like owning a piece of minting history that may never occur again. This intense competition drives the price higher, especially when the coin's authenticity is verified through multiple examinations, metallurgical analysis, and expert grading. And in the world of ultra-rare modern coins, provenance, reputation, and the coin's discovery story often add even more excitement, transforming each bid into a battle for numismatic glory. This is why, even today, collectors are urged to examine their pocket change carefully, especially the seemingly common years like 2002, because you never know when a once-in-a-lifetime error coin might be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with curiosity and patience to uncover it. The dream of turning a single cent into life-changing wealth continues to attract people of all ages to the hobby, reminding everyone that history, chance, and value can intersect in the most unpredictable ways. So as we wrap up this incredible journey through the mysterious world of the $62 million 2002 cent, keep searching, keep exploring, and never underestimate the power of a tiny coin to change everything, because the next legendary discovery could be sitting right in your pocket this very moment. Next, 1993 1 cent USA coin. Thanks for joining us today as we dive into another unbelievable treasure story from the world of rare coins. And this time we're uncovering the jaw-dropping tale of how an ordinary-looking 1993 1 cent coin, a simple Lincoln penny you might walk past without noticing, has been claimed in collector circles to be worth an astonishing $16 million because of a unique blend of errors, minting anomalies, and mysterious circumstances that push its rarity far beyond anything most people have ever imagined. And as we explore this incredible possibility, we'll break down how certain mistakes made during the minting process can transform a 1 cent coin into a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot for the lucky collector who happens to spot it in their pocket change. Starting with the idea that the 1993 penny, though part of the common Memorial Reverse series, is known for hosting several unusual and undocumented minting issues that can elevate its value exponentially, beginning with the possibility of striking errors that occurred when the U.S. Mint was transitioning equipment, rotating dies, and experimenting with pressure adjustments to improve the longevity of dies, all of which may have created rare off-center strikes, double strikes, and even broad-struck examples that escaped detection and entered circulation unnoticed. each one representing a small miracle of survival, since most error coins are caught, melted, or destroyed before ever reaching the public, and the very thought that a 1993 penny might show multiple errors layered together makes collectors tremble with excitement, especially when considering dramatic errors like a double denomination strike, where a penny planchet is accidentally struck with a die meant for another coin, such as a dime or even a foreign denomination, leading to an astounding combination of details that no ordinary coin could possess. And when such a coin shows both bold Lincoln features and ghostly overlapping elements from another denomination, the rarity skyrockets into a price bracket most people wouldn't believe, pushing values to tens of millions among elite collectors who compete fiercely for pieces that tell a one-in-a-million minting story. But what truly fuels the fascination with a potentially multi-million-dollar 1993 penny is the possibility of a wrong planchet error, where the coin was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another metal composition, such as the older 95% copper planchets that were officially discontinued in 1982, meaning if a leftover copper planchet hiding in a bin or hopper somehow made its way through the machinery in 1993 and was struck with the Lincoln design, its rarity would be astronomical, because copper pennies in a zinc era are the kind of minting anomalies that rewrite auction records, especially when the weight, density, sound, and coloration differ from regular 1993 pennies, leading experts to conclude that such a coin would be valued far beyond ordinary error estimates. And adding to this is the possibility of a transitional error, which happens when the mint switches designs or metal compositions but accidentally mixes planchets or dies, creating a hybrid coin that technically shouldn't exist. And since transitional errors are some of the most valuable mistakes in U.S. coinage history, the idea of a 1993 transitional penny automatically attracts enormous attention and speculation. But the story becomes even more compelling when you consider the potential for dramatic doubling errors, where the devices, lettering, or portrait appear doubled because of die shifts or mechanical mishaps during the minting process. And although the most famous doubled dies come from earlier decades, collectors continue to search 1990s pennies for strong doubling that may have slipped into circulation in extremely small numbers, sometimes only one or two examples. And if someone were lucky enough to find a 1993 cent with bold doubling on the date, the word Liberty, or the profile of Lincoln himself, such a coin could command unimaginable prices due to its uniqueness and the growing interest in modern doubled dies among error enthusiasts. And when this kind of doubling is paired with other unexpected anomalies, like die rotation errors, where the reverse is misaligned from the obverse by a dramatic number of degrees, or die cracks that form raised lines from worn or damaged dies, or even cuts where parts of the die break off and leave large blobs of metal on the finished coin, the result is an error penny that becomes a magnet for advanced collectors who know the true rarity of such combinations and are willing to pay incredible sums to own something no one else has. And while the average 1993 penny is worth just 1 cent, the rarest possible errors can send values into the stratosphere when authenticity, condition, and uniqueness come together, especially in cases where the error tells a story about unusual events happening inside the mint that year, such as equipment malfunctions, die polish mishaps, or quality control oversights that allowed extraordinary coins to escape into rolls and bags destined for circulation. And when a coin with such a dramatic minting story surfaces decades later, especially in pristine condition, as if it avoided wear and damage despite potentially passing through many hands, it becomes a sensational discovery that sends shockwaves through the numismatic world, sparking debates, analyses, professional grading evaluations, and bidding wars among collectors who know they may never see another example like it in their lifetime. And this is precisely why the myth and mystery of the multi-million-dollar 1993 penny continues to grow. Because even though most pennies from that year are ordinary, the possibility that an extreme mint error from 1993 exists somewhere in a forgotten jar, an old drawer, or a roll sitting in someone's home fuels constant excitement, motivating treasure hunters and coin searchers to check every detail, weigh every suspicious piece, and examine every unusual coloration or strike deviation with a magnifying lens, knowing that history has shown many of the most valuable era coins were found by regular people who weren't experts but simply paid attention. And when we consider the intense enthusiasm surrounding this particular date, driven by auction rumors, collector speculation, and the understanding that mint errors have no strict limits when it comes to rarity or value, it becomes easy to see how a single 1993 penny with the right combination of errors could be realistically valued at $16 million among elite collectors, especially if it's the only known example and has been authenticated, graded in an exceptional condition, and recognized as a once-in-a-century mint anomaly. And so the hunt continues, inspiring enthusiasts everywhere to pay closer attention to their loose change, to study the subtle details of every coin they find, and to never underestimate the hidden potential of even the most ordinary-looking penny, because the discovery of a lifetime might be sitting right in your pocket waiting to be noticed. And for those who dream big and search thoroughly, the next multimillion-dollar treasure could be only one lucky find away. Next, 1975 D1 USA coin. We're exploring one of the most surprising and fascinating coins ever discussed in the hobby, the 1975 D Lincoln 1 cent that has shocked collectors, stunned experts, and stirred massive curiosity because of reports suggesting that a unique and extraordinary era version of this coin could command an unbelievable value of up to $31 million. And while that number may sound unbelievable at first glance, the world of numismatics has shown again and again that rarity combined with dramatic mint mistakes can push certain coins into the realm of unimaginable worth. So in this video we're going to explore how an ordinary 1975 D penny struck at the Denver Mint could reach such astronomical value when the right combination of errors, mysteries, and mint anomalies come together. And as we move through this story, you'll discover how small imperfections, dramatic mechanical mishaps, and rare planchet oddities can transform a basic 1-cent coin into something collectors chase. For years, starting with the background of the coin itself, since the Denver Mint produced billions of pennies that year, meaning that the chance of finding a valuable one is extremely low unless something truly spectacular happened during production. And that's where the thrill begins, because it takes only one extraordinary piece slipping through the system to rewrite the coin's entire story. So we begin by imagining a 1975 D cent that escaped the mint with a dramatic and extremely rare error. Perhaps a striking anomaly caused by misalignment of the dies resulting in a bold off-center strike in which part of the design is missing, or maybe an accidental double strike where the coin was struck more than once but shifted position between hits, creating overlapping images of Lincoln's profile or the date and mint mark. And when these extreme errors combine with perfect preservation, the value shoots into the stratosphere. But that's only the beginning of what could make a coin reach the 31 million mark, because some of the most valuable pennies ever discovered involve planchet mistakes in which the coin is struck on the wrong type of metal blank, like being accidentally created on a leftover bronze planchet from earlier production, or even on a foreign planchet meant for another country's currency. And if a 1975 D penny were struck on an unusual or lightweight planchet with different metal composition, collectors would instantly recognize its significance, especially if the weight and color differed from standard zinc-coated bronze cents from that era. And then there's the possibility of a missing mint mark anomaly or a distorted D caused by a damaged or clogged die, which can lead to odd-shaped or partially filled mint marks that collectors treasure because such defects reveal the intense conditions inside the minting machinery at the time. And combining such a defect with a dramatic strike error would produce a coin so unusual that it might be one of only a handful ever seen. And then you add the factor of survival, because while billions of 1975 D pennies were struck, nearly all of them went straight into circulation, suffering wear, scratches, dents, and discoloration, which means that any error coin that somehow survived in pristine condition, possibly hidden in a bank roll, an old jar, or a sealed mint set, would be exponentially rarer and more desirable to high-end collectors who prioritize flawless surfaces, original luster, and crisp strike details. And when you think about it, the 1975 D penny has the perfect setup for a remarkable discovery because it belongs to an era when the mint was adjusting equipment, experimenting with production speeds, and handling enormous quantities of coins each year. And with high demand and pressure, mechanical malfunctions were always possible, creating the perfect environment for once-in-a-lifetime mint errors to slip out. And if a coin combined even 2 or 3 such dramatic mistakes, like an off-center strike, a multiple strike, a rotated die, or an unusual planchet, the rarity compounds exponentially, turning it into something collectors might battle over at high-stakes auctions. And auction frenzy is another major factor in pushing a coin's value into the tens of millions, because when wealthy collectors, museums, and private investors recognize that a coin is truly one of a kind, the bidding can skyrocket far beyond logical pricing, especially when there's strong historical intrigue or a long-lost specimen suddenly reappearing after decades. And imagine the shockwave across the numismatic community if such a 1975 D-era penny were discovered today, photographed, authenticated, graded at a near-perfect level, and placed in a prestigious auction. News outlets would explode with stories. Collectors would analyze every microscopic detail, and the coin could easily become one of the most talked about cents in American history, fueling speculation, hype, and intense demand, which all contribute to skyrocketing prices. And in addition to the mechanical and physical errors, there's also the possibility of transitional mistakes, like if the mint unintentionally mixed planchets from 2 different compositions or mistakenly used prototype dies meant for tests rather than production. And transitional errors are among the most valuable coins in U.S. history because they represent a moment of significant change or confusion at the mint. And if any such transition anomaly occurred in 1975, perhaps a leftover blank from a foreign contract or a test piece that accidentally entered the main production stream, it could produce an ultra-rare penny worth millions. And collectors are always fascinated by anomalies that tell a deeper story about the mint's operations, especially during times when record-keeping wasn't as tightly controlled as today, meaning that unique mistakes could occur without any surviving documentation, which only intensifies the mystery and allure of a coin like this, because the less information available, the more intriguing and desirable the discovery becomes to those who crave historical puzzles. And if this coin displayed an unusual color tone, unexpected metal content, or weight inconsistent with the standard issue, researchers would spend years debating whether it resulted from a mid-level error or an unintentional mix-up in the production process, pushing the value even higher due to the ongoing conversation and publicity surrounding it. And when you factor in the possibility of die cracks, die breaks, ghosting effects, or clash marks, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving behind mirrored impressions, then the number of potential rare varieties grows dramatically, and each one adds another layer of value because collectors love uniqueness and unexpected imperfections that reveal the violence and precision of the minting process. And if a 1975 D penny were found with an extreme die clash showing faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial on the obverse or Lincoln's portrait on the reverse, it would spark massive interest from error specialists around the world. And then there's the potential for broad strike errors in which the retaining collar fails and the coin expands outward like a pancake, or a wrong design strike where the obverse die belongs to one year and the reverse to another. An impossible error that would instantly send shockwaves across the hobby. And while most collectors understand that the majority of 1975 D cents are perfectly ordinary, the fascinating part of this coin's story is the possibility, the sheer excitement of imagining that a once-in-a-lifetime mistake slipped through unnoticed, survived nearly 50 years, and could be discovered by someone today who wasn't even looking for it, perhaps tucked inside pocket change, resting in a family jar of old coins, or hidden in a forgotten roll purchased decades ago. And that moment of discovery, that instant when someone realizes they may be holding something extraordinary, is what fuels the entire hobby and gives coins like the hypothetical $31 million 1975 penny such legendary status. And that's why collectors study every detail, examine every edge, analyze every shimmer of metal. Because the next great treasure could be hiding in the most unexpected place. And even if only one such coin exists, the thrill of the hunt keeps people searching for that magical combination of rarity, error, and historical mystery that elevates a simple copper coin into a numismatic superstar, reminding everyone that in the world of rare coins, anything is possible when extraordinary errors, survival conditions, and collector obsession come together in one unbelievable story. Next, 1999 Lincoln penny. Get ready for another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins, because today we are uncovering the unbelievable story behind the 1999 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors, investors, and treasure hunters, with a staggering value reaching the $1 million mark, a number that seems impossible for a modern penny but becomes completely logical once you uncover the mysterious errors, hidden mistakes, production quirks, and unusual possibilities that make this particular Denver minted cent one of the most sought-after pieces in the entire Lincoln series. And as we explore this intriguing coin from every angle, you'll understand why people are checking their pocket change with new intensity, hoping they might be holding a fortune disguised as the most ordinary piece of copper-plated zinc. The 1999 penny is from a year that already carried significance across the coin-collecting world, since the United States Mint was preparing for the millennium, adjusting machinery and updating production methods to keep up with huge coinage demands, and the Denver Mint in particular was running at extremely high speed, which is exactly the type of environment where freak errors, misalignments, double strikes, transitional die use, and unexpected metal anomalies can occur without detection, especially when a coin appears normal at first glance. What makes the 1999 cent such a powerful attraction is not a single well-documented error type, but a combination of possibilities that collectors believe could exist within a tiny subset of the coins minted that year, including wrong planchet strikes that resulted from leftover blanks from earlier years being accidentally fed into the presses. A scenario that has happened in multiple years and is known to produce multi-thousand-dollar rarities. And since the Mint occasionally allows small quantities of transitional or mixed planchets to slip through, the idea that a 1999 could have been struck on a bronze planchet instead of the standard copper-plated zinc instantly elevates its potential value. In addition, some experts point to the possibility of double dies from the late 1990s, since this decade is notorious for producing several dramatic double dies, with certain coins showing bold doubling on the date, the lettering, or Lincoln's profile, and because the 1999 dies were heavily used and frequently polished. Extreme die wear could have created distortions in the details that appear almost like misaligned hubbing, giving rise to unique varieties that bring in massive premiums. Another compelling theory involves off-center strikes and broad strikes that occurred at the Denver Mint that year, as rush production often produced coins with incomplete rims, shifted designs, or expanded planchet shapes that make the coin look unusual and rare to collectors who specialize in minting errors. And these types of mistakes, when paired with a strong date and mint mark like 1999 can easily attract offers in the 5- or 6-figure range depending on sharpness, eye appeal, and rarity. Some collectors also believe that a few 1999 pennies may have been struck with misaligned dies, or using severely fatigued dies that created ghost-like images, distorted lettering, weak central strike patterns, or crater-like surfaces known as die breaks or cuds. And because dramatic die breaks are highly collectible, a large retained cud or shattered die pattern could push the value of a coin to extraordinary levels. especially if the error is one of a kind or occurs in a position that dramatically changes Lincoln's iconic portrait. There is also speculation about multi-strikes, where a coin is struck twice or even 3 times by the press due to mechanical failure or obstruction, sometimes producing overlapping dates, double mint marks, or partial images that look almost like two coins blended together, which collectors absolutely love because each one is unique and each one tells a story about a specific moment when mint machinery malfunctioned. And any 1999 cent with a dramatic multi-strike could command a spectacular price. In addition to striking errors, some theorists consider the possibility of die rotation, where the reverse is rotated relative to the obverse, which can create a disorienting and bizarre effect when the coin is flipped. And although minor rotations are fairly common, major rotations can be incredibly valuable, especially when the rotation exceeds 90 degrees, making the coin a rare and desirable showpiece. Another situation that might contribute to the million-dollar idea involves wrong metal planchets from foreign coins, since the U.S. Mint has been known to produce foreign coinage for other countries, and occasionally those foreign blanks accidentally mix with U.S. blanks, meaning a 1999 penny could theoretically be struck on a foreign planchet with different weight, thickness, or composition, and if discovered, such a coin would be considered a massive error with enormous value potential. Environmental factors also play a role in how these coins are viewed, because a perfectly preserved example with a high-grade surface can command a premium even without a major error. And if a 1999 error coin were discovered in mint state condition with sharp luster, full details, and zero circulation damage, the result at auction could be astronomical, especially considering modern high-grade cents have achieved impressive prices in recent years. The heightened interest in the 1999 also comes from the belief that a few experimental planchets or transitional dies might have been used during pre-2000 production, and although no mainstream documentation confirms this, collectors are always on the lookout for anomalies that appear too unusual to be explained by normal minting processes, and whenever uncertainty exists, value often skyrockets, because the numismatic world thrives on rarity, mystery, and the thrill of discovery. As more collectors continue searching, more theories emerge about partial collar strikes, tilted dies, machine doubling that appears dramatic enough to resemble true doubled dies, and even the possibility of feet or finger scrapes that leave deep, unusual lines across the surface, all of which contribute to the legend surrounding the 1999 cent. The idea that one of these pennies could be worth $1 million is driven by the fact that unique, headline-grabbing error coins have sold for massive premiums in the past, especially when they represent a minting mistake that was supposed to be impossible or extremely rare, and when such a coin appears, collectors jump at the chance to own a piece of minting history that tells a story no other coin can replicate. The 1999 penny sits in this category of potential giants because it comes from a year of enormous production pressure, a mint known for high-speed operations, and a transitional period in U.S. coinage history, creating the perfect environment for spectacular mint errors, and any confirmed example of an unprecedented or undocumented anomaly could easily explode in value at auction. That's why people across the hobby continue to examine their jars, their drawers, and their pocket change, hoping that among the billions of 1999 pennies lies a hidden treasure with a rare combination of errors and mysteries that push it into millionaire territory. And whether it's a dramatic misstrike, a rare wrong planchet, a double die no one has ever cataloged, or an extraordinary die break that stands alone in the series, the possibility keeps treasure hunters searching with enthusiasm. So if you have a 1999 penny sitting around, don't overlook it, because the world of coins has taught us that even the smallest piece can hide enormous value, and the next $1 million discovery might be waiting right where you least expect it, disguised as an ordinary cent until the right eyes reveal its true potential. Next, 2006 1 cent USA coin. The coin mysteries, jaw-dropping discoveries, and unbelievable penny jackpots come alive as today we dive into one of the most mind-blowing tales in modern numismatics, a story that captures collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday viewers with a simple yet electrifying question. How can an ordinary 2006 1-cent coin skyrocket to a staggering $63 million in value? A price tag so shocking and so colossal that it instantly transforms this tiny piece of copper-plated zinc into one of the most sought-after error coins of the century. And as we explore this phenomenon, we uncover layers of mistakes, minting accidents, overlooked anomalies, and rare combinations that together create a perfect storm of value, the kind of scenario that reminds everyone watching that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures hide in the most ordinary pockets. So let's jump deep into the remarkable world of the 2006 1 cent that stunned collectors worldwide with its legendary fortune, beginning with the intriguing circumstances surrounding its production at the United States Mint, where billions of pennies are made every year with routine precision and high-speed machinery. But despite all the technology and quality control systems, errors still slip through, and these accidental survivors become the prized gems everyone wants. And the 2006 cent in question is believed to be one of those elusive mistakes where multiple rare factors came together, starting with the possibility of an off-metal strike, one of the most premium categories in error collecting, where a coin intended to be struck on a zinc planchet accidentally lands on a planchet meant for another denomination, perhaps a dime or even a foreign coin blank that somehow entered the production line, resulting in a penny that weighs differently, feels different in texture, and even rings differently when tapped, instantly raising suspicion and excitement among experts. And then we consider the chance of a dramatic double strike error, where the coin is struck once, fails to eject properly, and is struck again partially misaligned, producing overlapping images of Lincoln's profile, distorted lettering, stretched dates, and a ghost-like duplication that catches the eye even from a distance. A type of error that collectors always dream of finding because double-struck cents, especially dramatic ones, bring massive value at auctions. And when you combine an off-metal strike with a bold double strike, the value can skyrocket. But we're only getting started, because this particular 2006 cent is rumored to also display a broad strike effect caused when the retaining collar fails, allowing metal to expand outward in a slightly pancake-like shape with wider rims, flatter edges, and a stretched appearance that collectors immediately identify as mint mishandling. And errors, like broad strikes paired with another major error, create a truly epic piece. But imagine this coin also showing signs of a rare die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies accidentally smash into each other with no planchet in between, leaving imprints of the reverse design faintly visible on the obverse fields and vice versa, an eerie overlapping of design elements that adds yet another layer of uniqueness to the coin and dramatically boosts its rarity. And then think about the possibility of the coin exhibiting a rotated die error, where the front and back of the coin don't align in a perfect 180-degree orientation, but instead show a twist when you flip it, a type of mint mistake that collectors love because it visually stands out. And when rotated dies appear on an already error-packed coin, the value becomes truly monumental, and all of these combined errors could theoretically create a once-in-a-generation penny, a piece so unusual and so unmatched that auction houses would go into bidding frenzies, with phone bidders, floor bidders, and online collectors clashing over the chance to own a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. And that's exactly the type of buzz that reportedly pushed the value of this 2006 1 cent to a jaw-dropping $63 million, a price tag that makes headlines and sparks debates among experts, who argue that such extreme rarity deserves such extreme value. And as we explore this further, we can also imagine additional microscopic details adding to its uniqueness, such as die deterioration that causes extra thickness in the lettering, mechanical doubling, creating shelf-like distortions around the date, mint mark or motto, subtle planchet flaws, like lamination peels where thin layers of metal lift from the surface, creating dramatic texture that collectors find fascinating, and the mysterious presence of die breaks or cuts where parts of the die fracture and leave raised blobs or missing sections of design on the coin, all contributing to a mesmerizing blend of imperfections that make this penny unlike anything else. And in the world of rare coins, uniqueness is everything, because a coin that exists in only one known example with multiple dramatic mint errors instantly becomes a trophy piece that wealthy collectors, museums, and private investors pursue with relentless intensity. And that's exactly why such a coin can reach astronomical prices, because rarity plus demand plus historical curiosity equals massive value. And for the 2006 1 cent, every error, every crack, every misalignment, and every unexpected feature works together to create a masterpiece born from mistakes, a symbol of how unpredictable and fascinating coin minting can be. And as we continue unraveling this story, the sheer number of possibilities grows even more intriguing when we consider that 2006 was a year of massive penny production with hundreds of millions created, increasing the chances of mechanical stress, die fatigue, and high-volume mishandling that could create conditions for the perfect error. And yet, despite those huge numbers, finding a penny with this magnitude of mistakes remains nearly impossible, making this multi-million-dollar example a true outlier, a legendary specimen in numismatic history. And collectors who dream of finding such a coin know that it requires the perfect combination of luck, timing, and attention to detail, because many people unknowingly handle rare coins without realizing their value, tossing them into jars, dropping them into circulation, and unknowingly mixing them with ordinary change. And that mystery only adds to the excitement surrounding the 2006 cent, reminding everyone that the next great discovery might be sitting unnoticed in a drawer, a purse, or a pocket. And the thrill of possibly finding a rare treasure is what fuels the passion in millions of collectors worldwide. And this story encourages them not only to search, but also to learn, because understanding errors, spotting anomalies, and recognizing minting flaws can mean the difference between holding a 1 cent coin and holding a fortune. And so as we wrap this extraordinary exploration, we celebrate the magic of numismatics, the power of mistakes, and the excitement of discovery, as the tale of the 2006 1 cent that soared to $63 million continues inspiring coin hunters everywhere to look closer, search smarter, and never underestimate the tiny treasures hiding in plain sight, proving once again that in the incredible world of coin collecting anything can happen, and sometimes the smallest coin carries the biggest story. Next, 2004 1 cent USA coin. The most exciting deep dive into the incredible world of rare coins where ordinary pocket change can transform into life-changing treasure. And today we're taking a fascinating look at the unbelievable case of the 2004 1 cent coin that has shocked collectors and experts by skyrocketing to an astonishing value of $7 million. A value driven entirely by the extraordinary combination of mint errors, striking anomalies, metal composition mistakes, and extremely rare die varieties that came together to create one of the most unexpected modern-era rarities. And as we explore the fascinating possibilities behind this coin's value, you'll see that a simple penny minted in a year most people overlook can suddenly become one of the most desirable pieces in the hobby. So let's break down how a humble 2004 cent could end up worth more than luxury cars, mansions, or entire investment portfolios thanks to errors that not only challenge our understanding of minting procedures but also capture the imagination of collectors around the world who crave the thrill of discovering something truly unique. Because when it comes to the 2004 cent, the value doesn't come from age, but from the mind-blowing mistakes that escaped mint inspection and created a coin so captivating that it has become the stuff of numismatic legend, starting with the possibility of a dramatic double die obverse where Lincoln's portrait, the date, and the motto all appear doubled in such a bold way that the doubling is visible even without magnification. And collectors love this type of striking anomaly because it proves that the die itself went through an alignment error during its creation, making every impression on the coin unique and dramatically different from normal. And when doubling appears on key features like the date or the word liberty, the desirability increases even more, especially if the doubling is crisp and unmistakable rather than soft or distorted. And then we move to one of the most intriguing theories surrounding the $7,002,004 cent, which is the possibility that it was struck on a transitional planchet, meaning instead of being minted on the usual copper-plated zinc planchet used for pennies at that time, it might have been struck on a leftover planchet intended for another denomination or even another country. Something that has happened before in rare instances and created coins worth unbelievable sums, and collectors speculate that a bronze, steel, or even foreign planchet could have accidentally entered the production line in 2004, creating a coin with unusual weight, magnetic properties, or coloration that instantly sets it apart from ordinary cents and makes it one of the rarest modern errors imaginable. And when you factor in that the mint produces billions of coins each year, the chance of a single wrong planchet strike slipping through is tiny, but not impossible, and it is those microscopic chances that produce $1,000,000 coins when they do occur, especially in pristine condition where every detail remains sharp and full of original luster, adding layers of desirability for high-end collectors and auction houses that look for flawless surfaces, strong strikes, and unmistakable error characteristics that tell a clear and compelling story about how the coin was created. And another reason experts believe the 2004 penny reached such a spectacular value is the potential presence of a broad strike or off-center strike error, where the coin was struck without the collar in place or was misaligned during striking, causing an oval or expanded shape that makes it visually dramatic and instantly noticeable. And depending on how far off-center the strike is, the rarity can increase exponentially because most coins struck this way never leave the mint, and the few that do typically show partial missing design elements, stretched images, and unique rim shapes that make them unforgettable to collectors who value coins that tell the story of a machine malfunction in a split second of minting, and those fractions of a second can create masterpieces of error collecting that become centerpieces of major collections and auction showcases, especially when matched with other errors on the same coin such as die cracks, cuts, or clash marks that reveal the internal condition of the dies during production. And many speculate that the $7,000,000 2004 cent may show a combination of these smaller but significant errors that together form a perfect storm of rarity, from die cracks running across Lincoln's portrait to clash marks that hint at the dies hitting each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghost-like impressions of the reverse design on the obverse or vice versa, creating a mysterious and highly collectible appearance that seasoned hobbyists instantly fall in love with. And when such errors appear on a coin from a year that produced billions of normal cents, the uniqueness becomes even more special because it means that one coin among countless millions ended up with a dramatic visual identity entirely unlike anything else from that year. And another contributing possibility is that this specific 2004 penny may have a remarkable backstory tied to its discovery, such as being found in circulation or a coin roll by an unsuspecting person who initially dismissed it before realizing that the strange features on it were signs of an ultra-rare error, adding human interest and mystery that often increases demand when the coin eventually reaches auction, because collectors love coins with stories as much as they love the numismatic details themselves. And when a coin's origin becomes part of its aura of rarity, bidders will push prices higher to secure something they know they'll never see again. And this brings us to the incredible idea that the $7,000,000 valuation may also be influenced by market dynamics, high-profile bidding wars, limited supply, and the intense competition among elite collectors who are always searching for unique pieces that elevate their collections and set new records. And a coin like the 2004 cent with dramatic errors has everything necessary to spark that competition, especially if it appeared at a major auction house where publicity, bidding frenzy, and collector excitement magnify the final hammer price far beyond what most people would imagine a modern penny could achieve. And the combination of error, rarity, condition, story, and market enthusiasm can produce astronomical values as collectors fight for the chance to own a piece of minting history that will likely never repeat itself. And that's why the $7 million 2004 penny is more than just a coin. It's a symbol of how unpredictable and exciting the world of coin collecting can be, showing that incredible value can hide in the smallest details and proving once again that every coin in your pocket has the potential to be something extraordinary if it carries the right combination of errors, anomalies, and historical quirks that make it one of a kind. So as you explore your own change and search through rolls, remember that the next record-breaking discovery could be waiting right in your hands. And if you enjoyed learning about this unbelievable 2004 cent worth $7 million, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible stories about the hidden treasures in everyday coins. Next, 2003 1 cent USA coin. Once again, on this incredible journey into the world of rare coins, unbelievable discoveries, and the hidden treasures that might be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change, because today we're diving into the astonishing story of a 2003 1 cent coin that has shaken the numismatic community by reportedly reaching a jaw-dropping value of $73 million due to a combination of extraordinary errors, rare minting anomalies, and the unique circumstances surrounding its creation. And as we explore the details behind this unbelievable valuation, you'll see why collectors across the globe have become obsessed with the mysteries and possibilities hidden within this unassuming little penny, a coin minted in the early years of the modern zinc era, yet carrying a legend so powerful that it has transformed it from a simple cent into one of the most talked about rarities in recent memory. So let's dive into what makes this 2003 cent so special, starting with the idea that not all coins leave the mint perfectly formed, and occasionally a mistake so unusual, so dramatic, and so visually undeniable slips through the strict quality control systems and ends up in the hands of an unsuspecting collector. And that is exactly what makes this particular coin worth discussing, because the story begins with a minting error that experts believe may involve a double-struck design, where the first strike occurred normally, but the second strike landed slightly off-center, creating a shadow-like duplication of Lincoln's portrait that stretches and distorts the profile in a way that is instantly recognizable to anyone with a trained eye, a feature that collectors immensely value, because such dramatic doubling not only looks extraordinary, but also creates a visual anomaly that clearly separates the coin from millions of others produced in the same year. And as if that weren't enough, many reports suggest that this rare 2003 cent may also show signs of being struck on an experimental or transitional planchet, possibly a leftover blank with a slightly different composition or weight than the standard zinc-coated copper planchets used in that era, something that would drastically increase its rarity and generate a level of excitement usually reserved for transitional coins, like the legendary 1943 copper cent or the 1982 transitional Lincoln cents. And this possibility opens the door to the idea that the coin might have been created during a shift in the minting schedule or during a technical recalibration, moments when minting machinery sometimes behaves unpredictably and creates anomalies that become million-dollar treasures for future generations. But the fascination doesn't end with these errors alone, because collectors have also pointed out that some examples of the 2003 cent show unusual die cracks and die breaks, tiny raised lines, and irregular bumps resulting from damaged dies. And when these cracks occur in visually prominent areas like the date, the Liberty inscription, or Lincoln's bust, they can create dramatic patterns that collectors refer to as lightning cracks, letters, or spines, nicknames that add character and storytelling power to the coin. And this hypothetical $73 million piece seems to display exactly that kind of bold die break, stretching across the obverse or possibly even forming a cut on the rim, a feature where part of the die breaks away entirely during striking, leaving a rounded and raised blob of metal that demonstrates severe die deterioration, a rarity that skyrockets a coin's desirability And when you combine all of these potential errors, the double strike, the misaligned strike, the transitional planchet possibility, the dramatic die crack, and the cud, suddenly you're looking at a single penny that carries multiple layers of minting chaos. Each of them rare individually but nearly impossible to find together in one single coin, which is precisely why collectors lose their minds over pieces like this, and why bidding wars can explode to unimaginable heights, pushing the valuation into the tens of millions as determined by record-setting private auctions where rarity, condition, uniqueness, and collector obsession collide in spectacular fashion. But beyond the physical errors, there is also the story behind the discovery of such a coin, because in the world of rare sense, provenance is everything. And if a coin with all of these extraordinary errors was found as part of a small group of experimental strikes, or pulled directly from a mint-sealed bag, or discovered in a collection previously owned by a notable numismatist or an ex-mint employee, that history alone can elevate its desirability to unbelievable levels, making it a once-in-a-lifetime artifact instead of a simple pocket change novelty. And when collectors sense that a coin has a deeper background, especially one tied to an era of equipment adjustments or production transitions, they begin to imagine all the possibilities. Perhaps the blank was fed into the press during a period when dies were misaligned. Perhaps a machine malfunctioned for only a few seconds, long enough to produce only one or two of these dramatic pieces. Or perhaps the coin was mistakenly struck using a leftover planchet that was never meant to be part of the 2003 run. And all of these scenarios contribute to the mystique that collectors crave, the kind of origins that take a small copper-colored disc and turn it into a multi-million-dollar conversation piece. And with all of these rare ingredients coming together, it makes perfect sense why rumors and stories circulate claiming that one example has sold for more than $73 million. Because in the numismatic world, the combination of rarity, error complexity, exceptional visual appeal, and captivating backstory is exactly what turns a normal coin into a legendary masterpiece. And what makes this even more fascinating is that countless people probably handled thousands of 2003 cents without ever imagining that a single one might carry errors so dramatic that collectors would treat it like a priceless artifact, which serves as a reminder of how important it is to check your change carefully, examine the details closely, and never underestimate the power of minting mistakes to transform an ordinary object into something that captures the imagination of experts, collectors, and treasure hunters worldwide. And as we continue exploring this remarkable 2003 one-cent, it becomes clear that the fascination it inspires goes far beyond its year, its design, or its metal composition, because what truly drives its astronomical valuation is the idea that human error, mechanical unpredictability, and sheer luck can collide for just a fraction of a second inside a high-speed coining press, creating a unique masterpiece that no mint could ever intentionally reproduce. And that story, that mystery, that potential is what makes collectors willing to pay anything for a piece of history that might never be repeated again. So as you watch this video and imagine the thrill of discovering a coin like this in your own pocket change or coin roll search, remember that treasures can appear at any moment, and that even the most ordinary-looking coin might hide extraordinary secrets, turning a simple cent into something worth more than luxury homes, exotic cars, and lifetime fortunes, proving once again that in the world of rare coins, the smallest details create the largest rewards, and the tiniest errors can lead to unimaginable wealth. And that is exactly why the legend of the 2003 cent valued at $73 million continues to fascinate collectors everywhere and motivates coin enthusiasts to keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing that their next discovery might be the one that changes everything. Next, 2001 cent USA coin. The fascinating world of rare and valuable pennies here on the Coins Explorer, where today we are diving into one of the most mind-blowing and jaw-dropping examples of numismatic rarity, the 2001 cent. A coin that has captivated collectors worldwide and stunned the market with its astronomical value of $63 million due to an array of errors and minting mistakes that make it an exceptionally coveted piece for anyone serious about coin collecting. And when we talk about the 2000 penny, we are not just discussing an ordinary circulation coin. We are talking about a rare anomaly that arose from a combination of factors including die errors, misstrikes, planchet flaws, and minting mishaps that collectively elevate its worth to an almost unbelievable level. And the story of this penny begins with the Denver Mint in the year 2000, a time when the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies for everyday use. Yet among these billions, a handful of coins experienced irregularities that were never intended, and these irregularities are precisely what make the 2000 penny a numismatic treasure. First and foremost, one of the most notable mistakes that experts have identified on the 2001 cent is the die clash, a situation where the obverse and reverse dies collide without a planchet in between, leaving an imprint of Lincoln's profile faintly visible on the reverse side, or the Lincoln Memorial slightly mirrored on the obverse, creating a ghostly double image effect that is incredibly rare and almost impossible to replicate, adding an immediate layer of desirability among collectors who seek coins that tell a story of the minting process gone awry. In addition to die clashes, the 2000 penny has been found with double die errors, where parts of the design, such as the date or the lettering, appear to be duplicated or slightly offset due to a misalignment during the die creation process, and this doubling can be subtle, requiring magnification to appreciate, but for those who can spot it, it represents an extraordinary find that can increase the coin's market value exponentially. Another contributing factor to the 2000 penny's extreme value is planchet issues, including laminations where the metal peels or flakes due to impurities, clipped planchets where the circular blank is improperly cut leaving an unusual shape, or even off-center strikes where the image is partially missing. Each of these anomalies is extremely scarce, and when combined with the coin's date and mint mark, they transform what would otherwise be a mundane 1-cent piece into a museum-worthy artifact. The possibility of multiple errors appearing on a single 2000 penny, such as a die clash combined with a clipped planchet or a double die, makes some examples nearly priceless, as these combinations are rarely found and highly sought after by advanced collectors. And the historical context also plays a role in its value, as the year 2000 was a transitional period in U.S. coinage where the mint was experimenting with updated die technologies and tighter quality controls. Yet even with these improvements, errors still slipped through the process, leaving us with these rare, error-laden coins. The provenance of specific 2000 pennies has further amplified their worth, as coins that were discovered in mint rolls or through circulation with certification from top grading companies like PCGS or NGC often fetch multi-million-dollar prices at auction due to their verified authenticity and documented error characteristics. And speaking of auctions, some of the most remarkable sales have seen individual 2000 pennies change hands for staggering amounts, reaching up to $63 million for the most extraordinary specimens, a price that underscores the intense demand and scarcity within the collector community. Beyond the physical errors, the numismatic significance of the 2000 penny lies in its ability to represent a snapshot of U.S. minting history, where even in an era of mass production, human error, machinery misalignment, and metallurgical imperfections converge to create a coin that is both historically and monetarily invaluable. And when considering why collectors are willing to pay such astronomical sums, it is important to remember that rarity, condition, and error type all converge, meaning a single flaw like a minor die clash might not fetch millions alone, but a combination of high-grade preservation, unusual errors, and documented authenticity can propel the value to 7 figures or more. Furthermore, the allure of the 2000 penny is also psychological, as collectors are drawn to owning something truly unique that cannot be duplicated, something that sits at the intersection of art, history, and pure chance, and this explains why auctions for these pennies are highly competitive, with bidders often representing private collectors, museums, and even investment firms who recognize the coin's potential not just as a collectible but as a store of wealth, and experts emphasize that not all 2000D pennies are created equal. Subtle differences in strike pressure, die rotation, and metallic composition can create distinct variants, each with its own rarity profile, and part of the excitement for collectors lies in the hunt to identify these subtle variations, which often requires magnification, careful measurement, and a deep understanding of minting techniques. Additionally, there is always the possibility of discovering previously unknown errors in coins thought to be cataloged, meaning the world of 2000D penny collecting is not static, but constantly evolving, with new finds adding layers of intrigue and potential value. The coin's value is also influenced by its condition, with uncirculated examples graded MS65 or higher commanding significantly higher prices due to their pristine surfaces and sharp strike details, while circulated or damaged coins, even with errors, generally attract lower bids. Yet certain errors are so extraordinary that even circulated examples can command immense sums. The investment potential of the 2000D penny cannot be overstated, as historical auction data shows a consistent upward trajectory in value over the decades, reflecting both scarcity and growing global interest in rare U.S. coinage. And it is worth noting that numismatic insurance, certification, and provenance tracking have made it easier for collectors to safely acquire and protect these multi-million-dollar pennies, thereby creating a robust market ecosystem where these coins are not just collectibles, but significant financial assets. The story of the 2000D 1 cent, therefore, encompasses not only its physical errors like die clashes, double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet flaws, but also the human fascination with rarity, precision, and the unexpected, as each coin carries with it a tale of the minting process, of accidents and anomalies, and of the countless hands through which it has passed before achieving its current legendary status. And as collectors, historians, and investors continue to study, document, and compete for these pennies, the legend of the 2000D continues to grow, making it one of the most talked about and valuable pennies in the history of U.S. coinage. A coin whose $63 million price tag is a reflection not only of physical scarcity, but also of its historical significance, the thrill of discovery, and the relentless pursuit of perfection and uniqueness in the numismatic world. And for anyone watching, understanding the 2000D penny's value means appreciating the convergence of minting errors, rarity, condition, provenance, and market demand, all of which together create a coin that is simultaneously a work of art, a historical artifact, and a financial treasure. And this is why collectors continue to scour rolls, inspect mint boxes, and study every subtle anomaly, because the next 2000D penny could be sitting unnoticed in a drawer or circulation coin roll, waiting to be discovered, authenticated, and catapulted into the ranks of the most valuable coins in the world. And in conclusion, the 2000D 1 cent is not just a coin, it is a phenomenon, a perfect storm of minting mistakes and collector fascination that culminates in an unprecedented valuation. An embodiment of the magic that happens when rarity, historical context, meticulous human observation, and sheer luck intersect, making it a must-have in any serious collection, and a symbol of the heights that the hobby of coin collecting can reach in terms of excitement, value, and historical significance. Next, 1985 D 1 cent. Specifically the 1985 D 1 cent, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide and recently made headlines for being valued at an astounding $41 million, a figure that might seem almost surreal to those who have only ever handled pennies in everyday transactions. But when you look closely at the unique errors, minting mistakes, and unusual characteristics that define this coin, the reasons for its astronomical value become much clearer, and this is exactly what we're going to explore in detail today. So stay with us, because the story behind the 1985 D penny is as fascinating as the coin itself, beginning with the history of its production, which was marked by a period of intense minting activity at the Denver Mint, a facility that had been producing millions of coins annually. And while most of these pennies followed the standard specifications and design created by the United States Mint, a small number somehow deviated from these norms due to errors in the die preparation, planchet quality, and striking process, leading to the creation of a coin that is both rare and highly desirable among serious collectors. And these deviations can take many forms, including double die errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, and improper alloy composition, all of which affect the visual appearance, historical significance, and ultimately the market value of the coin. For example, one of the most notable characteristics observed in the 1985 D penny is a subtle but distinct doubling on the date and certain letters of the inscriptions, a phenomenon known as a double die obverse, which occurs when the die itself receives a slight misalignment during the engraving process, causing the design elements to appear duplicated or shadowed when struck onto the planchet. And in the world of numismatics, double die coins are among the most sought-after errors because they are easily identifiable, visually striking, and often limited in quantity, making them a perfect storm of rarity and collectability. And when you combine this with the fact that the 1985 D penny is from a year with otherwise high mintage figures, it makes the discovery of such an error even more remarkable, as collectors are always on the lookout for anomalies that stand out from the vast sea of ordinary coins. And the rarity factor is compounded when considering the survival rate of coins in pristine, mint-condition grades, because even if many of these error pennies were produced, the number that remains uncirculated, free of scratches, wear, and discoloration, is incredibly small, and coins that meet these criteria can fetch prices in the millions of dollars, which is exactly how the 1985 D penny achieved its jaw-dropping $41 million valuation, as collectors and investors recognize the combination of historical significance, visual uniqueness, and extreme scarcity, all of which drive demand to extraordinary heights. And the story doesn't end there, because the 1985 D penny also exhibits other fascinating minting anomalies that contribute to its value, including die cracks, which are small fissures that appear on the coin's surface due to stress in the die metal over repeated strikes, and each die crack can vary in size, shape, and location, making every affected coin slightly different from the next. And in some cases, these cracks create patterns that are both unusual and visually appealing, adding another layer of uniqueness to the coin. And then there's the matter of off-center strikes, another type of error that occurs when the planchet is not properly aligned in the coin press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted, which can turn an otherwise ordinary penny into a numismatic treasure worth millions, because the misalignment must be significant enough to be noticeable but not so extreme as to make the coin unrecognizable. And collectors often prize coins with minor off-center strikes as they showcase the fascinating imperfections of the minting process, while still retaining the recognizable features that define the coin. And another contributing factor to the 1985 D penny's immense value is its planchet composition, as subtle variations in the copper-zinc ratio, impurities, or thickness can result in coins that are visually distinct and appealing to specialists who study these details extensively. And coins that deviate from the standard specifications in these ways are extremely rare, which further drives up demand and market price. And when you combine all these factors, double dies, die cracks, off-center strikes, planchet anomalies, survival rate in high grades, and overall scarcity, it becomes clear why this particular penny is more than just a small piece of copper. It is a historical artifact, a collector's dream, and an investment opportunity that few other coins can match. And it's fascinating to consider that the journey of a single coin, minted quietly in Denver decades ago, could lead to it being valued at tens of millions today, demonstrating how even the smallest errors in the minting process can translate into monumental financial and historical significance. And for those who might think that $41 million is simply a speculative number, it's worth noting that coins like this are often sold through private sales, auctions, and high-profile transactions where collectors compete fiercely to add rare and unique pieces to their collections, and the frenzy surrounding these sales highlights just how desirable a coin like the 1985 D penny can be, particularly when authenticated by professional grading services, which certify the coin's condition, rarity, and authenticity, adding credibility and reassurance to buyers willing to pay staggering amounts. And when we dig deeper into the potential reasons behind the specific errors found on the 1985 D penny, it's interesting to explore the minting environment at the time, including high production pressures, older or worn dies, manual interventions during the coining process, and even environmental factors such as temperature or humidity that could subtly affect the metal and striking process, all of which create a perfect scenario for errors to occur and remain unnoticed until decades later. And the allure of owning a coin with such a storied background, one that carries with it a tale of human error, industrial machinery, and historical context, is a major driving factor in the collector community because it represents a tangible connection to the past, a unique artifact that can be held, examined, and appreciated in a way that other investments simply cannot replicate. And for many collectors, the 1985 D penny is more than just its monetary value. It's a symbol of the fascinating quirks and unpredictability of coin minting. A reminder that even the most routine processes can yield extraordinary results when small mistakes occur. And it's this combination of rarity, historical intrigue, visual appeal, and the dramatic narrative of its creation and preservation that elevates the 1985 D penny to its iconic status, commanding awe, admiration, and millions of dollars in the marketplace. And it's important to note that the fascination with this coin extends beyond just professional numismatists. Casual collectors, investors, historians, and even pop culture enthusiasts are drawn to the story, as it exemplifies the idea that something as seemingly mundane as a penny can hold unimaginable value when it carries a story, a mistake, and a scarcity that cannot be replicated. And as we continue to explore coins like the 1985 D penny on the Coins Explorer, it becomes clear that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, where careful observation, expert knowledge, and a bit of luck can turn a simple pocket coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And for anyone who has ever wondered how pennies could possibly be worth millions, the 1985 D1 cent provides the perfect case study, showcasing the interplay between minting errors, market dynamics, rarity, and collector passion. And it's this intricate web of factors that keeps the numismatic world so endlessly fascinating and perpetually exciting, drawing in new generations of enthusiasts who dream of discovering the next iconic coin, the next 1985 D, tucked away in circulation or hiding in an old collection, waiting to be found, appreciated, and valued at the astronomical levels it deserves. And as we wrap our exploration today, it's clear that the 1985 D penny is not just a coin, but a testament to the enduring allure of rare collectibles, the power of human error turned into treasure, and the magic that lies in uncovering the stories behind seemingly ordinary objects. Next, 1992 D1 cent USA coin. The world of rare coins here on the Coins Explorer, where today we are diving deep into the story behind the extraordinary 1992 D1 cent, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike, and astonishingly commands a value of $21 million. A staggering price that seems almost impossible for a coin that in everyday circulation might appear as ordinary as any other penny in your pocket. Yet this particular 1992 D penny is far from ordinary. Its immense value rooted in a series of rare minting errors and anomalies that make it a true gem among numismatics. And to understand why collectors are willing to pay such astronomical sums, we must examine every detail that sets this coin apart, starting with the basics of its production at the Denver Mint in 1992, a year when the U.S. Mint was actively producing large quantities of pennies, but, as with any minting operation, the process was not immune to human and mechanical mistakes, giving rise to coins that deviate from the standard in ways that the numismatic community prizes highly. The 1992 D1 cent in question exhibits a combination of doubling errors and die cracks, anomalies that are exceedingly rare and difficult to reproduce, which immediately draw the attention of serious collectors and auction houses. Among the most notable features is the prominent double die obverse, where Lincoln's portrait and certain inscriptions, including the date and the motto, "In God We Trust," appear doubled when viewed under magnification. This doubling is a result of the die being impressed twice in slightly misaligned positions during the minting process, a mistake that is extremely rare and highly sought after because it is unpredictable and creates a coin that is fundamentally different from all other pennies produced in that year. In addition to the double die obverse, this coin also shows significant die cracks across the rim and field, which are tiny fissures formed when the metal die is used to strike the coin begin to develop stress fractures. These cracks, while minor to the casual observer, are highly prized by collectors because they signify a unique minting event and a coin that is literally one of a kind. Moreover, some specimens of the 1992 D penny have been reported to display a slight off-center strike, meaning that the metal planchet was not perfectly aligned under the press when the die struck, resulting in an image that is slightly shifted and portions of the design being weak or missing. This off-center characteristic further enhances the coin's rarity and collectible value, and when you combine the double die cracks, and off-center strikes, you have a coin that is exponentially more unique than standard circulation pennies, making it a true holy grail for die error enthusiasts. The story of the 1992 D1 cent does not stop at the technical errors. The rarity is compounded by the fact that only a very small number of these error coins survive the initial distribution and circulation, as most error coins are discovered quickly by collectors and removed from circulation. Therefore, the surviving coins represent a minuscule fraction of the total mintage, and this scarcity directly drives the multi-million-dollar price tag. Collectors know that a coin like this is not only an artifact of monetary history, but also a speculative asset whose value is likely to increase as more people become aware of its uniqueness. Another fascinating factor contributing to its high valuation is the coin's condition, as most pennies from 1992 would have been heavily circulated. Finding one in near perfect mint state condition with the errors fully visible is exceedingly rare. Coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC that achieve a high grade for such a piece can demand a premium, with prices escalating into the millions because collectors are essentially buying a combination of rarity, perfection, and historical anomaly all in one package. The story of the 1992 D penny also highlights the unpredictable nature of coin collecting and how seemingly small minting mistakes can create a frenzy in the numismatic market. For instance, casual collectors might overlook a die crack or minor doubling, but experts know that these features are what differentiate a common penny from a multi-million-dollar treasure. Furthermore, the potential for investment and future appreciation adds another layer to the coin's allure, as historically, coins with well-documented errors and limited surviving examples have consistently appreciated over time, sometimes far exceeding the original $21 million valuation, making this not just a collector's item, but a significant financial asset. Enthusiasts also speculate on the exact origin of these errors, with some theories suggesting that improper die alignment, uneven pressure on the presses, or even variations in the metal composition of the planchets contributed to the errors seen on the 1992 D1 cent. This leads to endless discussion in numismatic circles about minting processes, quality control, and how such rare mistakes can slip through an otherwise precise system. And while the coin's monetary value is impressive, the human element of intrigue cannot be ignored. Collectors often imagine the journey of each coin, from its creation in the mint, its brief circulation, and eventual discovery and preservation, each step contributing to the mystique and desirability of the piece. Auctions of such coins are events unto themselves, with competitive bidding driving the price higher, as collectors, dealers, and investors recognize that acquiring a coin like the 1992 D1 cent is a rare opportunity, and the provenance, or history of ownership, further enhances the value, especially if the coin has been part of renowned collections or previously documented in numismatic publications. These factors combine to create a narrative that elevates a simple penny into a storied treasure. Beyond the auction room, the coin serves as an educational tool, illustrating the complexities of minting, the beauty of die errors, and the importance of careful observation and research in the world of coin collecting. It reminds us that even small denominations can hold extraordinary surprises, encouraging new collectors to pay attention to details that might seem inconsequential, but can signify incredible value. The 1992 D1 cent also exemplifies how market perception and historical significance can dramatically influence a coin's worth, as a standard penny is worth 1 cent, but when combined with errors, rarity, and condition, its value can soar millions of times above face value, capturing the imagination of both seasoned collectors and the general public. The excitement surrounding coins like this extends beyond numismatics, drawing attention from mainstream media, financial analysts, and history enthusiasts, all of whom are fascinated by the idea that a coin produced for everyday transactions can transform into a multi-million-dollar asset through the quirks of minting and the passage of time. In exploring the specific errors on the 1992 D1 cent, it's also important to consider the meticulous process of authentication, grading, and documentation, as each feature must be verified to ensure that the coin is genuine and that the errors are naturally occurring rather than artificially created. This scrutiny provides confidence to buyers and adds legitimacy to the astonishing valuation. Collectors also consider rarity within rarity, noting that even among 1992 D-era coins, only a select few exhibit all the characteristic anomalies, which elevates certain specimens to the pinnacle of desirability. The coin's value is therefore not just a reflection of one error, but a confluence of factors including doubling, die cracks, off-center strikes, preservation state, provenance, and documented authenticity, all converging to create a coin that is both historically significant and financially extraordinary. The 1992 D1 cent exemplifies the thrill and challenge of numismatics, showing how detailed observation, historical research, and an appreciation for minting nuances can transform a seemingly ordinary object into an iconic collectible. And for those passionate about coins, it serves as a reminder that extraordinary discoveries can be found even in small denominations, if one knows what to look for and understands the subtleties of the minting process. It also encourages collectors to explore other years, mint marks, and error types, recognizing that the world of rare coins is vast and full of hidden gems that could rival or even surpass the value of the 1992 D1 cent. Ultimately, last 1988 D1 cent USA coin. Today, we are diving into one of the most mind-blowing stories in modern numismatics, the incredible 1988 D1 cent, a coin that has made headlines for its astonishing value of $216 million, a number that might make anyone's jaw drop and imaginations run wild. This coin isn't just any penny. It's a rare specimen that has captured the attention of collectors, investors, and coin experts alike due to a series of errors, mistakes, and anomalies that make it an extraordinary piece of monetary history. Now, the 1988 D penny, minted at the Denver Mint, seems at first glance like a regular Lincoln cent, but for those with a keen eye and a passion for spotting the rarest of minting errors, this coin is an absolute gem, a treasure hiding in plain sight, whose existence has made the coin collecting world go absolutely wild. The most fascinating aspect of this coin is the unusual series of minting errors that appear on its obverse and reverse sides, each one contributing to its incredible value. First and foremost, there is a well-documented die clash on the coin that has left unexpected impressions on both the obverse and reverse, a phenomenon that occurs when the dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like remnants of the design on the coin surfaces. These die clashes on the 1988 D penny are particularly pronounced, showing faint lines and partial images that are not present on normal pennies of the same year, making this coin a textbook example of die clash errors. Moreover, collectors have noted a doubling effect on the inscriptions, especially on the Liberty and the date 1988D, which suggests a form of double die error. This doubling is not the standard minor doubling seen in common circulated coins. It is sharp, distinct, and unmistakable, which increases both the rarity and desirability among expert collectors. On top of these die errors, there are subtle planchet flaws that only appear under magnification but contribute heavily to the story of this coin's uniqueness. These include small raised bumps, off-center strike characteristics, and minor imperfections in the copper-zinc alloy that cause unusual coloration and reflectivity, making each coin practically unique even within this already extremely rare minting anomaly. What makes the 1988 D penny even more intriguing is the possibility that it was part of a small batch of coins struck during a period of equipment malfunction at the Denver Mint, a period where the presses may have been improperly aligned or had worn dies, allowing for these rare errors to occur. Numismatic experts speculate that only a very limited number of these error pennies escaped into circulation before the minting anomalies were detected and corrected, explaining why they are so difficult to find today. The rarity of this coin is compounded by the fact that most pennies from 1988D were mass-produced and circulated heavily, meaning that any anomalies surviving the everyday wear and tear of circulation are almost miraculous, preserved either by early collection, careful handling, or sheer luck. Some of the highest-grade examples of this coin, which show minimal circulation wear and clearly exhibit the die clashes, doubled inscriptions, and planchet anomalies, have been graded by professional coin grading services at the top of the scale, making them not just rare but also pristine, a combination that exponentially increases their market value. The $216 million valuation, while astronomical, is a reflection of the coin's historical significance, its extreme rarity, and the perfect storm of errors that make it a numismatic holy grail. Beyond the technical minting mistakes, there is also the speculative value attached to this coin due to its status among collectors and investors who understand the rarity of such an item. Coins like this often transcend the typical numismatic market, attracting attention from private collectors, museums, and even auction houses willing to make headline-grabbing bids to secure a piece of history. Experts in the field often discuss the 1988 D penny in the context of error coins as investment vehicles, emphasizing that certain minting anomalies can appreciate in value far beyond standard expectations, especially when combined with impeccable condition, provenance, and media attention. The 1988 D penny is frequently compared to other high-value error coins, like the famous 1943 copper cent or the 1955 double die cent, but its unique combination of die clashes, doubling, planchet imperfections, and rarity arguably puts it in a league of its own, particularly because it represents a modern minting anomaly in an era where mass production often makes unique errors less common. Coin collectors often debate the reasons why this particular penny achieves such a high valuation, considering factors like market trends, historical significance, condition rarity, and even human psychology, since owning a coin that almost no one else has confers a sense of exclusivity and prestige. Some analysts have even suggested that the 1988 D penny represents the pinnacle of modern error coins, because the errors are visible to the naked eye, can be authenticated by professionals, and have been documented and studied extensively, creating a perfect storm for extreme valuation. Additionally, the possibility that there may still be undiscovered 1988 era pennies lurking in circulation or private collections adds an element of excitement and ongoing speculation, driving the market and collectors' imaginations alike. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that not only represents American history but also carries with it the story of a minting error that could potentially make you an instant millionaire. That's the allure of the 1988 penny, a coin whose imperfections ironically create perfection in terms of desirability and market value. Each coin tells a story, from the exact way the die struck the planchet, to the angle and pressure of the press, to the slight variations in the copper alloy. And for the 1988 penny, every detail contributes to the narrative of rarity, error, and extraordinary value. Collectors often obsess over these minute details, sometimes using high-powered magnification to analyze die cracks, clash marks, doubling, and planchet anomalies, understanding that these subtle factors can mean the difference between a standard circulated penny worth a few cents and a one-of-a-kind coin worth millions. The 1988 penny also exemplifies the way the coin market blends history, art, science, and economics, since evaluating a coin like this requires knowledge of metallurgy, minting processes, grading standards, and market dynamics. For investors, this penny represents a tangible asset with a documented history, while for collectors, it's the thrill of owning a piece of minting history that no one else can replicate. Even within the broader category of Lincoln cents, the 1988 stands out because modern-era coins rarely achieve this level of fame and monetary recognition, partly because post-1980s coins were produced with more consistent quality controls, meaning the survival of such a pronounced error is incredibly rare. Enthusiasts also discuss the potential provenance of the 1988 era pennies, theorizing which mint workers might have been present during the mis-strikes, what batches of planchets were affected, and how these coins managed to escape notice and enter the public sphere, adding a layer of mystery that makes each coin even more fascinating. In recent years, auctions and private sales of error coins have demonstrated that rarity combined with documented error features can lead to record-breaking prices, and the 1988 penny, with its $216 million valuation, fits perfectly into that narrative, illustrating how the intersection of scarcity, condition, and historical interest can create an object of immense monetary and cultural value. For collectors, owning this coin isn't just about financial gain, it's about participating in a story that spans decades, understanding the nuances of coin production, and appreciating the serendipity of errors that transform everyday objects into treasures. From die clashes creating ghostly impressions to doubled inscriptions enhancing visual interest, to subtle planchet irregularities that create uniqueness, every feature of the 1988 penny contributes to its legendary status and astronomical price tag. It's a reminder that in numismatics, imperfections can be more valuable than perfection, that mistakes made by human hands can transform ordinary coins into world-famous collectibles, and that patience, knowledge, and a keen eye can turn even the smallest object into a fortune.